Gentlemen, you received instructions in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. Protect yourselves at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Touch them up.
Well, Joseph Hicks has used boxing to overcome a variety of things, whether it be the tragic passing of his father, the trappings of the streets, or the very disappointment the sport itself caused when his Olympic dreams were swept away by the global pandemic. But the key in each circumstance has been radical consistency. It's meant balancing a day job at Progressive with his boxing career, and Hicks has remained remarkably consistent. This is his 5th appearance here on DAZN, and 5 years out from his Olympic cycle, Hicks believes this is the time and this is the potential victory, Al, that would announce himself as not just a prospect, but a budding contender here on Hall of Fame weekend.
And make no mistake, Wendy Toussaint is a serious challenge for him. Toussaint comes into this fight with revenge on his mind because Hicks' stepbrother, Ardrell Holmes, won a very controversial win over Toussaint, and you see how he's coming out blazing. He said at the press conference, I'm knocking Hicks out. So all those things you talked about, Wendy Toussaint would like to upset.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Toussaint had a pretty good performance against Ardrell Holmes. He gave a very respectable effort against Charles Conwell. So this is a guy who is having a lot of success in the opening round, as he has against legit contenders in the past.
Yeah, he has fought tough fighters, and he said this was going to be blazing from the beginning. Hicks said he wanted he thought too much emotion from Toussaint could hurt him. So far, it's helping Toussaint.
Yeah, Toussaint definitely has the experience, and you know, he didn't waste any time. As soon as the bell rang, he cut that distance short. He's keeping it short. He's sticking to Hicks close. He's landed some good power shots. He's coming in with the jab, and let's see how long he lasts with that kind of activity. Can he keep up with that pace as the fight goes on?
Yeah, that's the question.
Traditionally, if anything, Toussaint ramps it up as the fight goes on. So this is an encouraging early start here for Toussaint, who's coming off an 8-round majority decision win over Brian Augustine. And what a shot there. Toussaint in business here in the opening round.
Toussaint said at the press conference, I'm going to knock him out. Now, Joe Hicks still has a lot to say about that, but he's been hurt early.
Joe Hicks in some trouble here, hunched over after that right hand, and now grabbing a hold with a little under 40 seconds left to go in the opening round. A spectacular one for Wendy Toussaint.
Yeah, Hicks is taking some big shots early on in the fight. He's got to hold on. He needs to hold on.
That's a massive right hand from Toussaint, and he found another one. Hicks in serious trouble right now, and he was just held up by a combination of Toussaint and the referee.
Yeah, and the referee now, I don't know why this action's being stopped.
Closing moments of an eye-opening first round for Haitian Fire, Wendy Toussaint.
Well, Wendy Toussaint made it clear he was going to come up blazing, and he did exactly that. That first right hand, which, by the way, the Hicks camp knew was this big punch, and they said that's what we have to neutralize. But unfortunately for them, they didn't in round one, and Toussaint just kept throwing that punch, landing it on a regular basis, and it was a big round for him.
Round two begins. What a start for Wendy Toussaint, a man who, if you see him anywhere outside of the ring or inside the ring, he is always working, whether that's as a volunteer firefighter, whether that's as a bus driver, or in the ring, where he is a prodigious volume puncher, as we saw in the opening round.
And he keeps working, and that's exactly what he has to do. He's got to keep that momentum going. He can't give Hicks any distance. distance. Is a long-range fighter. He's got a long jab. He's got to get under that jab and keep those combinations coming like he did in that first round.
Just the look on Joe Hicks' face tells you he knows he's in for something here. He is, you know, wide-eyed about what's going on here in this first round in a little bit.
It's a clubbing shot ruled behind the head. A little bit of a push as well there.
And you know, he said Toussaint was the best fighter he has faced thus far. Toussaint has faced better overall competition than Hicks has, but we know Hicks has lots of ability and potential in this fight. He was hoping to show it. So far, he hasn't.
Short right hand on the inside there from Toussaint. A sweeping shot that rocks Hicks back.
Yeah, Hicks needs to find a way to land some hard shots and get that respect from Toussaint, because Toussaint ain't getting that respect. He keeps closing that distance, landing some big shots, good body shots. Hicks looks off balance every time he gets hit.
A little bit of swelling underneath the right eye of Joseph Hicks as well. Wendy Toussaint doing serious damage in less than 2 rounds as he goes to the body with the right hand now.
You know, they said Hicks wanted to establish his jab in this fight. There he paused with one, but he has not been able to get that punch untracked and hasn't been able to slow down Toussaint's pressure coming in.
I think Hicks is very hesitant when he throws that jab.
Yes.
You know, he's afraid of getting countered and get caught by those powerful shots like he did again right there. He's complaining.
Hicks is in trouble here. I don't know if he was complaining about a thumb to the eye, a shot behind the head, whatever's affecting him. He is not in a good place right now. Joe Hicks looking extremely uncomfortable here in the second round.
And Toussaint had a point deducted when he fought Earl Holmes for hitting behind the head, which is a questionable deduction, but it happened once before.
I know 15 seconds of round 2, a brief reprieve here for Toussaint, who has just been swarming Joe Hicks from the opening bell. A stunning start here for Wendy Toussaint. Well, the third Ring Magazine show will take place on July 12th at the Louis Armstrong Stadium in Queens, New York. It will be headlined by 2 main events, Edgar Berlanga versus Hamza Shiraz and Shakur Stevenson versus William Zepeda. What a tremendous doubleheader. That's live right here on DAZN. Round 3 underway, and you could not ask for a better start if you're a supporter of Wendy Toussaint, as he comes right out firing that same right hand. Joe Hicks just has not found an answer for it.
You know, Raul's words, usually prophetic, are for sure here. That was because Hicks did commit with the jab and the counter right came over it. So it speaks to Raul's point that he's almost hesitant to throw the punch because he's going to get countered.
And I'll tell you what, Hicks is throwing a decent jab, but it's not a hard jab.
Yeah.
It's not a jab that's going to get that respect from Toussaint. He's still coming forward. He's still winging big shots, short shots, hard shots. Toussaint looks very strong in there so far.
Well, in his last fight against Keon Papillon, Hicks was hit by some good punches, and Toussaint and his people said, we saw that and we thought we could do that and we're going to hurt him more.
Yeah, Hicks ultimately won the firefight in that fight, but right now, this is a different temperature of an inferno that he's dealing with right now.
I love the confidence of Toussaint, just the way he's walking up to Hicks. You know, jabbing and blocking some shots. Just, you know, he's on him. It's got to be intimidating for Hicks.
I think thing that's interesting too here, Raul, is that Toussaint seems to be winning the jab battle. It's a nicely timed jab right down the middle.
You're right, and it's a hard jab, Corey. It's a solid jab. Look at that hard jab, popping his head back. That's the kind of jabs that you get that respect. That's what I want to see Hicks do, but he's not able to do it. It's like he has no strength in his punches.
And that was the game plan coming in, for the Hicks jab to make a difference in this fight. And instead, it's been Toussaint's, along with those straight right hands.
That was a good body shot there by Hicks again. He came back again with another left hook to the body. But look at Toussaint coming right back, getting it right back with strong shots.
Good clubbing shot. You see that one acknowledged by Joe Hicks, and the body language of Hicks acknowledging that second one. A little bit of a wobble in the gait of Hicks after that second right hand.
Yeah, Hicks needs to keep moving. He's got to get out of the ropes. He's got to hold them, walk up to the center of the ring. He don't want to go toe-to-toe with Toussaint, especially early on right now. Toussaint looks strong.
Hicks doing some good body work in this round, but other than that, Raul, Toussaint seems pretty unconcerned with what Hicks is throwing right now.
Yeah, I'm saying this is only the third round. Toussaint's been working hard all those 3 rounds. Let's see if he keeps doing it. Let's see how long he keeps doing it. He said he had a full camp. He's in great shape. We'll see. Here we see Toussaint applying the same pressure, good combination punching, going to the body, going on top, setting it up with a good jab, good overhand right. Again, solid shots. He had Hicks all over the place again. I think that's another Wendy Toussaint round, guys.
Round 4 now underway. Big right hand again from Toussaint. He has started every round now with that sweeping right hand, and he has not missed.
Yeah, I mean, and you know, he's thrown it sometimes, as you say, a sweeping punch, sometimes straight, sometimes after the jab, but the one dominant theme is that it has been landing. And they were aware of that. Hicks and his people said, we have to stop that punch, and they just have not been able to.
I'll tell you what, Hicks is trying. He just did a double jab and a right lead, but no effect. He's not effective with those shots. Toussaint keeps closing the distance, landing harder shot. Oh!
Massive right hand again from Toussaint.
Add to the body.
Hicks waved him in after that second right hand, trying to motivate himself for the kind of fight that Toussaint is dragging him into right now.
And you know, when you talked about whether Toussaint could continue it on, Hicks has never been past 8 rounds. Toussaint has been into the 9th in the fight he lost against Charles Conwell. So the 9th and 10th are a little bit uncharted territories, but right now, Toussaint is banking so many rounds and making it so difficult for Hicks that you would think Hicks might be the guy struggling as the fight moves on, not Toussaint.
That's got to be a mental thing for Hicks. I mean, yeah, for Hicks too, because he's never gone 8 rounds, and he's not winning any rounds right now. When you get to the round 7, round 8, that's got to be behind his head that I've never gone 8 rounds like this.
Well, yeah.
What's going to happen in the next 2 rounds?
Yeah, and then they get to 10, and it's going to be tricky.
It's going to be a scary feeling for Hicks if Toussaint continues with that kind of pressure. He's just like bulldozing over Hicks.
Well, the other thing is, you pointed out, what has to change in this fight is Hicks has to land something that will hurt Toussaint or get his respect. Now, he's got 8 KOs in 12 fights, but he's going to have to do that.
But so far, he hasn't. No. He has tried. I see that he's trying, but he just looks weak. I don't know. Toussaint is just doing all the damage, doing all the catching him with the power shots and forcing him to go back.
Closing in on the final 30 seconds of round 4. Toussaint, again, to your point, Raul, is just able to step to the inside, sometimes without offering anything up. He just walks in with that right hand,
No
lines
respect.
up.
You're right, no respect, just walking up to him and throwing haymakers. Oh!
Big right hand again. You could hear that one.
I felt that one, guys. That was...
You can hear that one in the balcony here at the Turning Stone. Wendy Toussaint having a right hand party right now. Well, Fabio Wardley looks to move into pole position for a shot at the WBA heavyweight title when he takes on the late challenger Justis Huni in a massive homecoming for an interim title. You can catch it live on DAZN, the home of combat sports, broadcasting over 185 fights a year from the world's best promoters.
Looking forward to that fight.
Really astonishing that Fabio Wardley came up through white-collar boxing and is now one of the best heavyweights in the world.
Crazy, huh?
The weak side's going to be there too. They're way too dragged up.
Round 5 underway, and I think this is the first round that has ever started without Wendy Toussaint landing a right hand in the opening 5 seconds. What a tremendous start for Toussaint. Running after Hicks right now.
Yeah. That's a confident fighter, guys. I mean, he's full of confidence. So far, I'm very impressed by Toussaint's work rate. I mean, everything he said he was going to do, he's been doing it.
He gave us,
yes.
He said exactly how this fight was going to go at the press conference and at our meetings, and he is living up to it. Now, that was a nice counter right hand attempt by Hicks, and that's the kind of thing he's got to do more of, and hopefully land one that hurts Toussaint.
Some uppercut on the inside there from Hicks. Toussaint falls short with that right hand. The second one gets there.
The level of competition Toussaint has faced and where he has been is showing here tonight. Hicks hasn't quite been at that level before, and now he's facing a man that has, who's bringing it to him.
Toussaint having that, walking up to him with that frame defense, hands up. Really, when Hicks throws, nothing's really getting in. He's walking him down like a brick wall. He's just running all over Hicks.
The one punch for Hicks that has gotten through is the uppercut when he can use it.
And the body shot.
And the body shots. He just needs that uppercut could be the big weapon for him if he can land a big one, but he's got to hurt Toussaint with it.
This right hand to the body here from Hicks is trying to find a little bit of a rhythm. But the body language of Hicks in the opening 4 rounds, I don't think we're overstating it. It just looked off.
Yeah, 100%. Now he's starting to get a little bit of his offense rolling, and Toussaint's been a little less in terms of volume in this round. So if we're looking for signs that things are changing, there are a few, not dramatic ones.
Yeah, I believe Hicks needs to keep that distance long. Even touch him with a long jab and let his right hand go and then keep circling around Toussaint. Don't stand too much in front of him.
Toussaint's corner imploring him not to wait.
Yeah. Well, this is the first time in the fight we've seen him not march right in and throw a lot of punches. Is it a sign that it's something to come like that, or is it just an aberration?
And if it is, if he's wearing down, this is where Hicks needs to take advantage of that.
Good point.
Fast combinations, try to outbox them, try to pick them apart from the outside, hold them in the inside, get back on the outside.
There's a clash of heads there. You see Joe Hicks wincing after the heads came together there a moment ago. And that's the best round of the fight so far for Joe Hicks, graded on a curve, but maybe overall that could be a Hicks round.
Possibly. Very possible, Corey.
Back to action here. We'll see if Joe Hicks can build upon a little bit of momentum he seemed to develop in round 5. As he looks for that left hook to the body.
I agree, Corey. This is, you know, we're going into the second half of the fight, and you know, he had a pretty good, decent round, Hicks, and he needs to keep that momentum going.
Producer, I'd be really
if he could try to outbox him, you know, use more of his jab and keep moving in circles, tie him up in the inside. Maybe Toussaint is wearing down. You know, he did throw a lot of hard punches early on. Maybe he's getting tired.
Toussaint's doing something else. He's either staying too far out or he's smothering his punches on the inside. He's not getting to that middle point where he can attack properly.
It's going to take a lot to fully discourage Wendy Toussaint, who's talked about the early days in his boxing education when he would spar Joe Smith Jr., of course, the hard-hitting light heavyweight and cruiserweight. Said at one point he did have to ask Smith, hey, can you put on bigger gloves?
Yeah.
That's just about the only time Toussaint's back down.
Yeah, both part of Star Promotions, Joe DuGuardi and his group. That's why he was sparring Smith.
Good body work there from Hicks, but look at the reply from Toussaint. That sweeping right hand again. They have been less frequent over the last 2 rounds. Less frequent than the body work of Joseph Hicks.
Well, the volume of Toussaint has gone down in the last round and a half. That's the big thing.
Right when you said that, he came with some strong body shots out by Toussaint. But he definitely slowed down in this round and the last round.
Well, and we are starting to see a pattern develop that we've seen in Wendy Toussaint fights in the past, most notably the Ardrell Holmes fight. There's that untidiness and hyper-aggression about his work that leads to a lot of fouls. We've been warned a number of times now for use of the head. And at some point, and historically, that often does catch up to him.
Well, and they had a clash heads in that Holmes fight, and that caused him to go to the scorecards that he lost the fight. Questionable, but nonetheless, that was what did it. And you're right. And now, the tenor of this fight is slightly different.
Toussaint corner right now, asking for more body work.
And both men have, Toussaint especially, has stopped throwing his jab, which was so effective early, and that was helping to set up those right hands. And remember, he had the emotion coming into this fight, Toussaint, and it carried him through those rounds. Now maybe overall the adrenaline is worn out a little bit. And he's switching to lefty now, which is different.
Well, Hicks noticed that immediately and just missed with the lead right hand there a moment ago. Nice uppercut there from Hicks. As the seconds tick away here in the round, the pendulum swinging in the favor of Joe Hicks. Looking to make a statement against the upset-minded Stanley Wright, looking to take his O a little bit later on. That's our main event, but we've got a good one unfolding here between Wendy Toussaint and Joseph Hicks Jr.
Yeah, I feel like the last 2 rounds, the tide turned a little bit. I think Hicks might have outboxed him in the last 2 rounds. Toussaint, all of a sudden, he stopped being so aggressive, and his combination punching is not the same. His attack is not the same.
Now, what has happened in this round, though, is he at least got back to throwing those winging right hands a little bit. He stopped that, really, in the last 2 rounds for the most part. And the Hicks jab, which, as we pointed out, the Hicks people wanted him to throw, he's been throwing it more.
Toussaint just missing with that.
You know, Joe Hicks is working referee Gonzalez about the head clashes.
Yes.
And boy, he remembers that it was his stepbrother that, you know, all that happened with. And he's kind of playing referee Gonzalez for a point deduction against Toussaint.
Well, and a point deduction, Raul, would radically change this fight. If he can didn't succeed in that campaign, it helps him in a tremendous way.
Yeah, that would make a big difference. And you don't know how that would affect Toussaint, you know, a headbutt like that. But look, he's throwing some good combination hits. Maybe not doing damage, but he's scoring points. His combination punching, but Toussaint comes right back.
Well, there were stages early in this fight, Al, where Hicks was visibly tentative.
Yeah.
And whether it's because of Toussaint's inactivity or some kind of adjustment that Hicks has made, he's starting to find the confidence in his combination punching. He's doubling up on the jab. There's a little more snap on that right hand.
Yeah, and I think that a large part of it is the inactivity of Toussaint, that he has not thrown as many punches.
Oh, nice counter there by Hicks. I think it caught Toussaint's attention a little bit.
Oh, big shot there from Toussaint.
That's the first dramatic left hook we've seen from Toussaint. Been all right hands, but that left hook was an excellent punch.
Yeah, I think catching Hicks by surprise there.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had that in your arsenal.
Yeah, exactly.
Also.
Hasn't seen it this fight.
I was waiting to time the right hand. Where did that come from? Hicks just getting the shield up, blocking that right hand. So we're inside the final 20 seconds here of round 7. Good body work there from Hicks. Just occupying the hands of Toussaint, then bring the left hand downstairs.
This round, in my opinion, Toussaint did better work. Whether he won it is another question.
Seconds tick away here in the 7th. We will head into the home stretch. Well, a couple of Hall of Famers here and a couple of men who inspired me in my own boxing journey. The greatest of all time, Jim Lampley, and of course, Ross Greenberg. You hear the iconic music. Gets me fired up every single time it hits the speakers. And Ross Greenberg, of course, responsible for so many things that we take for granted now in terms of the presentation of boxing.
Yeah, at HBO, he was an innovator and somebody that helped usher in, as you point out, the way we perceive boxing on TV. And Jim, of course, did a great job for all those years.
And by the way, I got the opportunity to do HBO Latino in Spanish with when Ross Greenberg was around.
Well, I got to work Hagler Hearns with Ross Greenberg and Pacquiao Mayweather with Jim Lampley.
That's not a bad combo.
Those are my two good experiences.
Not a bad resume. As Joe Hicks looks to add to his resume here tonight. This is the toughest test of his young career by a wide margin right now. He's having to gut this one out. And quite possibly, Al is still trying to even up the scorecards, potentially.
Oh, yeah, I would think because of the start Toussaint got off to. Even if Hicks won all of the last 3 rounds, it's hard to imagine Toussaint losing any of the first 4. But, and I think the last round you can make a case for Toussaint winning. And the Toussaint jab now coming out of mothballs, which he really didn't throw much in the last 2 rounds.
Changing up the direction of the jab to Toussaint, to the head, to the chest, to the body. Just winging it out there, putting it out there, trying to prepare that clubbing right hand over the top.
Nice right hand to the body there from Hicks. I mean, Raul, if you really want just to still this fight down, whoever's winning the rounds has just been who has taken the initiative, who's getting off first.
Yeah, you're right. And this round, it's Toussaint that's taking the initiative, and he's winning the round.
Toussaint with receiving a stern warning.
You feel it's coming, and I didn't think that warranted a warning. That was just him, you know, kind of coming on the inside and looking for opportunities. Joe Hicks's offense has completely stalled. Toussaint hasn't been wildly active in this round, but more so for the most part than Hicks.
Falling short with a couple shots there. They get a little snap on his jab. A couple right hands to the body have landed this round from Joe Hicks.
And the overhand right from Toussaint is just going a little awry in the last 3 or 4 rounds. It moves like radar in the first few, but now not so much.
And that one landed on the back of Joe Hicks.
Another
solid
sore
jab
spot
there,
with him.
Toussaint pushed Hicks all the way back, guys.
Full leverage, stepping in with that shot. Wendy Toussaint, but back comes Hicks. A little snappy right hand as well. Final 10 seconds here of round 8. Back and forth contest, and Toussaint just missed with that right hand. Hicks had his own loaded up as well. 2 to go here between Hicks and Toussaint.
And we're headed into territory neither of these fighters have seen. Toussaint at least have gone into the 9th round.
Stop backing up, okay? Look, he's hitting your best shot.
Well, Jake Paul returns to the ring on June 28th when he'll take on Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in a cruiserweight bout. It'll be broadcast live on DAZN pay-per-view. The undercard also includes a unified cruiserweight title fight between Zurdo Ramirez and Uniel Dorticos. That's exclusively on DAZN pay-per-view. Two to go in this one. Joe Hicks and Wendy Toussaint. Incredibly competitive one here. Regional IBF junior middleweight title on the line in this one. Big boost in the ratings. Potentially a win that could elevate Joe Hicks at least close to the top 15.
Yeah, he feels at age 33. He said, I still have a chance, I think, to get my career back to where I can be a title challenger.
Toussaint just trying to find that aggression, that feeling of desperation rather. And down goes Hicks. Obviously a shove there. And we'll see if anything will come of this.
Yeah, he just pushed him off because Hicks was trying to hold on like a crab there. So
yeah,
he's got to do what he's got to do, guys.
And you know, some of this, I know Toussaint gets the rap a little bit for his style, but some of this is Hicks grabbing a lot and holding as far as head things and everything that's happening. He's creating some of that.
I love that solid jab. I mean, just Toussaint's jab has been very effective, very strong compared to Hicks' jab. Even though Hicks has, you know, been able to prepare some good combinations off of his fast jab, but I'm telling you, like, the Toussaint jab does damage. In one shot, he pushes you back, he rocks you with the jab. Oh, nice overhand.
Over the top.
Yeah.
And that one has Hicks backing up momentarily. To put into perspective how surprising a victory for Toussaint would be, and not that amateur experience is the be-all and end-all here, but Toussaint had 22 amateur fights. Joe Hicks was at least temporarily named the co-captain of the U.S. Olympic team. This is not what the prognosticators were expecting.
No, back then when they were younger fighters, yes, and Toussaint learned by fighting very tough people, working in the gym with the great people like you mentioned, Joe Smith, and that's how he got himself to this position.
He's just an experienced guy. I mean, the level of opposition that he's fought compared to Hicks, it doesn't compare.
No, it's
show it right now.
Oh, wow.
Colossal right hand from Toussaint. Hicks took it well, and that was after another one of those solid push jabs from Toussaint.
I love those jabs, yeah.
This could be a pivotal. I'm sorry, Raul. This could be a pivotal round.
Final 15 seconds as Hicks now warned for his involvement in some head clashes as well, to your point out. As the seconds tick away, one round to go. It has been a rough and surprising one here in Verona.
The right hand got untracked again for Toussaint. Landed that one early in the round. And he kept throwing it, and that one got in as well. And so Hicks in that round absorbed some big power punches from Wendy Toussaint. Neither man has seen this round before.
And final round. Do we have a stunner brewing here? Could Wendy Toussaint pull the upset over Joe Hicks? Raul, if you're in the corner of Hicks, what strategy are you laying out right now? Are you fighting as if this fight is on the line?
But Hicks is not that kind of guy, right? That I think he's got to go for broke. I think he's losing the fight. I got Toussaint up by probably 7 rounds. I've only given 2, maybe 3 rounds at the most for Hicks, but he's down. But he's not. He doesn't have that kind of style that, he's going to go toe-to-toe and go for broke. No, Toussaint's going to do that. Yeah, Toussaint's going to make it. He wants to make sure that he doesn't leave it in the judge's hands. I think he's going to come out with everything right now.
Yeah, and Hicks is a steady as you go guy. And while this would be an upset, I don't think a monstrous one, because Toussaint came in here with certainly a good chance to win this fight. But yes, he probably rated the underdog in the fight.
Big right hand again, the sweat flying. You could see that one, courtesy of the right hand of Wendy Toussaint, who, as we mentioned, has had heartbreak in the past. Of course, the Ardrell Holmes fight. He bet a not insignificant amount of his purse on himself in that fight. And then what happened, happened. We'll see if Toussaint can cash in tonight at the Turning Stone Casino.
He lost the tough decision in South Africa in a fight, in his last fight, 2 fights ago. And that was tough for him. He's only had 3 losses as a pro. Now, we're talking about this fight. We don't know how the judges are seeing this. So.
Closing in on the final minute of this contest.
Just missed with that clipping right hand again.
Just went around the shoulder of Hicks there.
And then Toussaint did some body work. I think this holding by Toussaint's strategic at this point.
I was about to say, I think he's cognizant of the clock. I think he feels that he's ahead on the scorecards and is not looking for another heartbreak.
I still think he's winning the round.
Yeah, I agree.
Toussaint now traversing the perimeter, switching southpaw, different looks, just killing clock right now. And in a round where very little is happening, it could be just single shots like that could win it for Toussaint. Final 10 seconds of this contest. Big winging left hook there from Toussaint. And that may be the final word in this contest. What a performance from Haitian Fire, Wendy Toussaint.
He did not get the knockout that he predicted, though he did have Hicks hurt early, but he did produce a very consistent effort that, except for a couple, maybe 3 rounds in which Hicks looked like he had a shot at winning those rounds, and certainly won a couple for sure. Except for that, it seemed like Toussaint took control of most of the rounds, and there he is with his promoter, Joe DeGuardia, who felt like his man had a good chance in this fight, and it paid off.
Well, this Sunday, Jai Opetaia is set to defend his IBF and Ring Magazine belts against the undefeated Claudio Sequeiro at the Gold Coast Convention Center in Australia. You can watch this cruiserweight clash live worldwide right here on DAZN. So could these be the final moments of Joe Hicks Jr. as an undefeated prospect? as Wendy Toussaint scored the upset again. You know, Al, as you mentioned, we can debate how big of an upset it is in terms of the, you know, the mechanisms of boxing. We all know that Joe Hicks was supposed to win this fight. Wendy Toussaint just had a different idea.
Yeah, I mean, Hicks, the undefeated guy coming in here, but Toussaint had that background and the skill set to do what it appears he did tonight.
See Wendy Toussaint celebrating here. Will he be able to celebrate for real is the question.
Right? Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is the question. He started his career 12-0. He's 4-3 since. He would like this one to give him the momentum.
Hey, I might be wrong. Joseph Hicks leans over and at me. What do you think? Not Toussaint won, but we'll see. I'm not the judge.
You know,
we'll see, Al.
Yeah, given all the hard feelings beforehand, it's good to see those guys show sportsmanship to each other.
I mean, I can't believe anyone has hard feelings towards Joe Hicks. Literally one of the nicest people I've ever met in boxing.
I think it really was a spillover from the whole fight who happens to be connected with him. But yeah, I agree.
You guys, telling you, this is the way.
A lot of tension here as we await these scorecards.
Tell you what, every time they take that long to read the scorecards, I don't know, Corey. It scares me.
Hey, nothing scares you, Raul.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Al.
I mean, it's certainly adding to the tension for both Toussaint and Hicks right now.
And I was glad that we're looking at the referee Gonzalez. I was glad no points got deducted either way in that fight because it might have sullied things up a little bit, and he refrained from that, which was excellent.
Yeah, credit to him for keeping control of the fight. Another referee might have deducted points, and it would have changed the landscape of this fight. Might have altered how Toussaint approached the fight. A lot of things happen when a point deduction happens beyond the point just getting taken away.
Yeah, it's a very good point. Well, Toussaint certainly believes he won. There's no question about that. And it feels like this is going to be a watershed moment in his career.
All right, looks like we are ready to solve the mystery. The man who knows who won is Chad Fishburne. He's got the scores in his hands.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judge Don Ackerman scores this bout 95-95, a draw. Judge Eric Marinsky scores this bout 97-93, and Judge Don Trella scores it 96-94 for your winner by way of majority decision and new IBF USBA Junior Middleweight Champion, Wendy Toussaint.
Wendy Toussaint has done it. Heartbreak no more. The Haitian fire burns in Verona. Look at the emotion on Wendy Toussaint, hunched over the corner pad. What a moment for him.
He earned it. He deserves it. Put a lot of hard work in. Had a great camp. And you see the payoff.
Scary moment when the first scorecard was read, but it turned out to be what we believe is the correct decision.
So Wendy Toussaint reigniting the fire of his career, so to speak, with the upset victory over Joe Hicks, as we take a look back at how he got it done.
Yeah, here's the fight in microcosm. The first 4 rounds were just frenetic for Wendy Toussaint, coming forward, using the right hand as the centerpiece of his attack, throwing combinations, throwing volumes of punches, and just stunning Joe Hicks. At various times looked like he may almost had him on the verge of going down, but it didn't quite happen. And then the fight, as it wore on, Hicks came back a little bit in the middle rounds, and then Toussaint got it done, and then had this astonishingly emotional moment. He came into this fight with great emotion.